Alright guys, so welcome back. Uh, I forgot a couple of things since, Fallout 76 was released and I bought it, got suckered into playing, Fallout first, and so I've been playing a lot on the private server. Well, was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick up Fallout 4 and play it, and been playing it a lot more here lately, and I discovered that I forgot quite a few things after being spoiled by Fallout 76. First thing being, any chems, including stim packs that you use, will dehydrate your character. Now, while some people might be wondering why is this such a big deal, let me show you. I have 1 intelligence. Now, this is just my personal thing. I don't like having a high intelligence at the start of the game because I want to be able to control how quickly I level up so that the equipment on my enemies stays really low. Now the reason for this is I get to somewhat control how powerful my opponents are. While if you keep 1 intelligence and then use spec into bloody mess and increase your damage that way, level 4 or not level 4, you get to say level 9, that's 10% damage increase, and if you're doing a stealth build, you're pretty powerful at the start of the game, and by level 12 or 13 you're not too far into the game and you're not going to be leveling up very fast, so you'll be able to kill harder opponents with fewer stats, and you grow at you level up slower, but it's all just my opinion. It just makes it somewhat easier. But your dehydration affects your intelligence. Now, I don't remember if it does that in Fallout 76, but I know that it affects your AP. It does the same thing in this one, it affects your AP, but I don't think you actually get negative stats to your intelligence. So technically speaking, I'm gaining intel or XP at -1 intelligence, if you wanted to do the math that way. I'm pretty sure that's not how the mechanics work, but think of it that way. So every time I get a kill, it's going to be at a significantly lower rate than having just 1 intelligence. So next thing, weapons. I'm also going to cover armor under this, small topic. I would recommend that you carry the pipe pistol. This glorious little thing right here. The reason being, this is the jack of all trades weapon. If you want to have an automatic pistol, just slap an automatic receiver on it, like so. If you wanted it to be an automatic rifle, just put a rifle stock on it. You can put a suppressor on it, get your additional damage from sneak attacks, and stay hidden a lot easier, and so on and so forth. I would also recommend that you pick up the pipe bolt action pistol that you get. Ooh, got the hiccups. That you get at the, I think it's called the Dublin Diner, I think is what it's called. You pick it up from Trudy or you don't pick it up from, you can buy it from Trudy. And depending on what your charisma's at, kind of determines the price on there. I would say if you get like a level 5 or level 6 charisma, it's not that big of a deal. It'll still be pretty expensive at like the start of the game since you don't have any money. But overall, it's not bad. It's a 308 caliber weapon, and you start off with the suppressor. Now, why is that such a big deal? Because in order to craft a suppressor, you have to be spec'd in the gun nut. Now, why being spec'd in the gun nut is an issue is you have, depending on the weapon itself, you have to either have level 2 or level 3 gun nut. Now, Level 2 gun nut isn't an issue if you've actually spec'd into intelligence enough to where you can get it. As I've stated, I stay at level 1, so for me, being able to craft one is kind of out of the question. But in order to craft it on, I believe, the combat rifle, it requires, I think, level 3 gun nut. And that requires level 25. And you have to have intelligence of 3. So y'all can kind of see where this would be starting to become an issue. Whereas I can pick that weapon up and get a suppressor just right out the start. And ooh, I've never seen that there before.
Whoa, easy there, Vault Boy. This
like I'll show y'all.
You stop waving that.
Okay, just take it easy.
Yeah, let me just kind of.
Looks like you got help. I'll talk to her.
Maybe we appreciate it.
Sure.
And there we go. Oh yeah, hang on. I've got to do something a little shady here. Oh, that's not going to work the way I wanted it to. I thought I still had some grenades. I was going to make this really easy on myself. Ooh. But, yeah. So,
Look at all the blood.
Rushing through this so I can
Can't wait to see
show you all the weapon.
Let's see what you got.
All salvage.
And I think I have 6 charisma, so this is going to be about what the price is for it. I mean, it's not too expensive. I mean, by no means. And you start off with a standard receiver, and I mean, it's 37 damage per shot. The great thing about the pipe bolt action pistol, though, is say you find one that's got a 50 cal receiver, or you're kind of just going through the mods that a vendor's selling, and you come across the bolt action pipe pistol 50 cal receiver mod. You'd be able to shoot 50 cal rounds out of the bolt action. So you get a really high damaging pistol that's suppressed. And I don't know this for certain, but I think that actually becomes the most highest damaging pistol per shot, with the exception of legendary weapons and the plasma pistol. Because plasma pistol, or not plasma pistols per se, but all plasma weapons do ballistic and energy damage. And there's several things you can do to energy weapons in general to increase their damage per shot. So, with the exception of energy weapons, mostly focused on the plasma weapon, the pipe bolt action with the 50 cal receiver, pretty devastating. And once you start, speccing into whatever it is, gunslinger or rifleman, that plus, the perks of bloody mess and your sneak attacks and damage and everything, you get one of the highest damaging pistols out there, if not the highest damaging. And I'm almost certain has a faster fire rate than the revolvers. So, with that being said, it'd be nice. Now companions. I'm going to hit on the topic of companions. If you got the Automatron DLC, Codsworth is the best companion, outright. I mean, arguably you could say Ada because she's also a robot, or Curie. But overall, they're going to be their best because you can modify them. So you can build them up to do more damage and carry more and do this and that. I will say this, that Codsworth's companion perk once you max out your affinity with them, isn't that great unless you start building them up and you're doing and focusing on the Automatron DLC, or you're going to be fighting a bunch of robots. Then it becomes, something somewhat nice. But that's really the only thing. The only reason I'm mentioning Codsworth as one of the best and not the best is his strength is naturally the highest, with the exception of Strong actually having the highest strength as far as their specials go. So if you were to give Codsworth the Assaultron blades and basically built him out to be like an Assaultron, he would do a lot of damage. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He would just do a lot of damage. Unlike me right now, having to shoot everything multiple times. As far as, factions to go with while doing survival mode, the Brotherhood of Steel is probably going to be the best one, because you can use the Vertibird. And for those of y'all who don't know what I'm talking about, once you ally yourself with the Brotherhood of Steel and you kind of get somewhat into the main storyline a bit, the Brotherhood of Steel will show up and you gain the ability to call in a Vertibird. You can't fly it around, which is the somewhat unfortunate part, unless you get a mod done for it that lets you fly it around. But you can get in the Vertibird once it lands, and you can actually send it to go to certain locations, and it will land and you can get out. And the reason that's such a big advantage in survival mode is you can't fast travel in survival mode. So it makes traveling a lot easier, especially when you have to go from one side of the map to the other. And that's why personally I think the Brotherhood of Steel kind of, wins that category. But, that's just purely my opinion, as is most of this. All of this. Not gonna lie. Almost all of this is my personal opinion. The next thing would be, and this is kind of going back to your special skills or your special perks. Your build doesn't really matter, because once you hit like level 30, your build is pretty much set. Like, you can get to where you're, overpowered by like 20 to 25, depending on what armor and weapons you get. And the reason I'm bringing this up is you can actually take mods off certain weapons and put them on others, where, and for those of y'all who've played 76, you can't do that. And the reason that, that makes you really powerful is you can get, all of your legendary armor, and if you realize like, oh, I can put, for leather armor for example, say you get it and it's got boiled as, its category of armor that it's in, yet, you just found a non-legendary piece that's got the studded upgrade to it, then you can just take the studded upgrade off the non-legendary piece, or even weapons, the higher damaging receiver, and put it on the legendary one. And while it's more work, I mean, at a lower level, you can have an armor set up and a weapon set up that by like level 12 or 13, the game might not realize it, but you're at the status of somebody who should be like a level 30. And it very well could make the game super easy for you, or if you're trying to do this and you don't know exactly what you're doing, it could make it absolutely harder for you. It just kind of have to get the luck of the draw, really. In survival mode, though, your legendaries enemies do spawn a lot more frequently, but it's after like you hit like level 14 or 15. Most of your DLC quests, though, start at level 15. Like the Automatron DLC, it starts at 15. Pretty sure Far Harbor starts at 15. But if you don't know where to go and yours is like bugged for some reason, if you go up here, there's like a house and you talk to the guy in there and you get on the boat and it takes you to Far Harbor. Like, that's literally all you gotta do. I've never played the Far Harbor DLC, but I know where to go to start it, because you can start it at any level. The Automatron DLC, you have to be level 15 though, or it just won't show up. But by then, you know, if you've done move weapon parts and armor parts over, and you've got like the best armor you can get, then you're golden. Pro tip though, and I don't know if it had been changed through an update or not, but say you get heavy combat armor, the requirement to craft the armor is higher. So, you know, your polymer upgrade for your combat armor on a set of heavy is actually going to be different than your light version. So you could actually craft your full set of polymer upgrades for your combat armor using a light armor set, and then just move all of those pieces over to your heavy armor piece and have all your upgrades. And that is absolutely amazing. I didn't realize that until after I'd already done beat the game twice, and I had a buddy of mine tell me that, and I was like, oh, well, shit, I didn't know that. Yeah, and he just showed me what he was talking about when he did it. As far as best location for you to kind of like base yourself out of, I would recommend Home Plate. While Home Plate isn't a settlement per se, it's a player house. It's right in the middle of Diamond City. Now, you can't send the Brotherhood Vertibird into the city. Honestly, I have never taken the Vertibird to Diamond City, so I don't know where you would land exactly. But you wouldn't land too far away, I'd imagine. And with you know, putting yourself right there in the middle of the map, you are the same equal distance away from everybody. And when you look at the map, Diamond City's right here. It's like right there. You got the railroad here. You got the Institute here. Then you've got, when the Brotherhood of Steel shows up, they're right here, right? I don't know. It's been so long since I played Fallout 4. They're right in here somewhere. They're like right here. Or no, they're right here. This is the airport, because they send you over here to clear out that fort. So yeah, the airport's right here. So the Brotherhood of Steel is right here. The railroad. You can make the argument that the Minutemen are right here, but you know, you end up having to take the castle over, which is right here, which becomes the HQ. So when you put your house right here and you make this your primary house, you're in the middle of Boston, so you got all these areas, you've got access to all of your factions just right here, and it's pretty much like right in the middle of the map. So having to travel out and then, you know, find a spot to save is a lot easier, where, you know, I just came all the way from Concord, from that little house up there, all the way down here. It just makes it easier when you take this and use this as like your main house. If you don't want to use the main house, or not the main house, the Home Plate player house, right over here, like literally on the other side of this, there's a settlement that you have to take over from like 4 raiders, and that's Hangman's Alley. This is probably going to be the next best spot that I would recommend. Simply because, you know, it's just right here. This is chained up, but like literally on the other side of this, like that's Hangman's Alley. But I mean, really, other than that, there's not much else. I mean, Fallout 4 survival mode is a lot like the fundamentals, I guess you could say, to 76. You have to eat, sleep, drink water, be mindful of what you are attacking because you can get diseases. And while you don't get the same diseases that are in Fallout 76, you do still get diseases. And it's an absolute pain. This is also another perk if you use this as your main house. You get all these caravans that come running through here.
Come on. Your gun's here. Small.
And
Let's see what you
if you're
got.
doing a commando build,
Uh-huh.
I highly, highly recommend you get this. Like, absolutely. Because, one, it starts off with a suppressor, but bullets explode on impact, doing 15 points of effect damage. That is absolutely amazing. And it uses the 45 caliber, so it's extraordinarily easy to use and keep weapons for, or not weapons, but ammo for. That's just, you know, a little something to throw out there for you guys. I actually have the Creation Club content, so you'll see that I have some weapons that pop up here that some of y'all might not have. And no, it's not a mod, it's just the Creation Club stuff, because I was a sucker and bought some of them. A lot of them. A lot of them. But yeah, that's really all of the, I guess you could say, tips and advice I can give for Fallout 4 survival mode. Be sure to always sleep. I have been killed by a random nuke many times within my own settlement. Like, I spent like 3 or 4 minutes in my own settlement and got killed by a random nuke by a super mutant. Like, it constantly sleep in a bed to save the game. That's really the biggest thing I can tell you guys. But other than that, I will catch you guys in the next one.